Grandpa!
Paco, Katie, how are you two? You've gotten so big since I last saw you.
But you just saw us last week.
Well, you've gotten bigger since last week. Seriously, do your parents put something in your food to make you grow at night?
No, at least I don't think so.
Alright, you kids, you get yourselves comfortable. Go drop your things off in your bedrooms. I'll be right there.
Okay.
Okay.
They're here, Nagisa. I wish you could meet them. They're great kids. I love you.
Hey, Grandpa, who's in this picture?
What picture?
Oh, this one, over here.
Oh my, I forgot I had this picture.
Who is it?
His name was Dalt Black.
Did you know him?
Well, not exactly, but I did know quite a bit about him.
Like what?
Well, he lived a very tragic life.
Huh? What do you mean?
Here, let me tell you a little bit about him.
I live in the middle of nowhere, like in the woods, and I go on walks there every morning. One particular morning, it was very foggy. However, this didn't stop me from taking my morning walk. After a couple minutes, I saw something crossing the path. I'm not sure what it was, because it was too foggy. It was too tall for an animal, so I just shrugged it off as my mind playing tricks on me. Then after a couple more minutes, I saw it again, but this time it was just standing in the fog, just standing totally still. I shouted, "Hello?" But it just stood still. I got really freaked out, so I ran home. The next day it was still very foggy. As I was walking, I saw it again. It was standing in the middle of the path like last time. I yelled, "Who are you?" But instead of standing still, it took a few steps closer. I ran home yet again. That night I was lying in bed trying to fall asleep, but images of that apparition kept creeping into my head. After I finally did manage to fall asleep, I heard someone calling my name. After a while, I went downstairs, and there he was, standing in the middle of my kitchen. I ran out of my house, got in my car, and spent the night at my friend Rich and Catherine's house. Around 5 in the afternoon the next day, Rich and I returned to my house. I was telling him about the incidents, but he didn't believe me. However, he did help me set up a motion-activated camera outside of my house. I spent the night at Rich's again, but the next morning I returned to fetch the footage. As I thought, there was some footage of the figure. In the footage, he was circling around the house, as if looking for me. The footage faded to static, and then his face was really close to the camera. Footage then faded to static again. I showed Rich the footage. He believed me about the incidents and said that I could stay for as long as I needed. About a month later, I finally got my own apartment, and I haven't seen the figure since.
Dalt thought he had gotten rid of the figure, however...
It's been almost 2 years since I've seen the mysterious figure. Since I've seen him, I've lived with my friend Rich and his girlfriend, and gotten a stable job, and then been able to move into my own apartment. I was totally fine until I moved into that apartment. After I moved in, I've had reoccurring nightmares of the figure stalking and chasing me. I could have sworn I saw the figure out of the corner of my eye every now and then, but I thought it was just my imagination or some PTSD. That's what I thought the voices were. They kept saying things like, "Him see all," and "Notch is dead." However, I knew for sure it wasn't PTSD when I saw him clear as day standing in the middle of the street. After I saw him, I blacked out, and when I woke up I was home, unsure of how I got there. I kept seeing him here and there, but things progressively started getting worse. I noticed things rearranged in my house, things going missing. The nightmares were getting worse. I was losing hours, sometimes days. I got so sick, the fever, sweating, shaking, vomiting. I'd completely lost my appetite and barely slept. I was convinced that the figure wanted to end my life, so I started calling him the Enderman. I figured it was time to move again. I had to keep moving or else the figure would continue to haunt me. I didn't know where to go, but that was okay as long as it wasn't here. I was looking through my storage when I found a peculiar item. It was all gold with a purple shimmer to it. It came with a note saying, "Use on the undesirable," and I instantly knew what it meant. I waited for the Enderman to show up again, and when he finally did, I charged right at him with a stick. When I hit him, he flew about 100 blocks back and fell right into my bathtub filled with water, where he yelled until he died. After that, I saw my opportunity to run. I took what I could carry and fled into the woods. Eventually, I built my own house there and started my own mineral water business. I've not seen the Enderman since, and I keep the golden stick as a trophy of that.
Huh? Mineral water business?
Oh yeah, we learned about that in history class. Used to be illegal, right?
Yeah, they categorized it along with potions, but I don't know why. Anyway, I digress.
So Dalt really had a mineral water business?
He did. He started it up just as it became legal too. And it was pretty popular.
It's 3 in the morning. What do you want? Hey, man, I need the stuff like right now, man. I said I'd have it to you by Tuesday. Well, I'm kind of having a party right now, man, and they want to know where the stuff is, man. Fine, I'll speed up the order, but you gotta give me more diamonds. Got it, man. Hey, we need to speed up order number 1039. Creeper, if you explode, I swear I will rip that frown off your mouth and whack you with the golden beating stick. Mr. Black? What do you want, Paco?
It's cold down here, Mr. Black.
Listen, Paco, I'm not paying you to complain.
You're not paying any of us, Mr. Black.
Exactly, now get back to work. We need some more redstone for our next order.
Mr. Black, I'm hungry.
Paco,
Yes, Mr. Black?
why are you out of your hole?
I'm hungry.
Get back in your hole, Paco!
I'm so sorry, Mr. Black!
Some people. Hey, zombie, we got enough material for 3 bottles? Flip the switch then. Booyah, baby! Is this the stuff, man? Heck yeah, it's the stuff. Here you go, man! What is going on? Look, whatever you think I did, I didn't do, alright?
Someone told us you were in possession of something illegal.
How did he find out?
We're arresting you for enslaving a Mexican child.
What about the drugs?
You mean that mineral water? That's totally legal.
How did he find out, though? I closed the door behind me. Get back in your hole, Paco!
I'm so sorry, Mr. Black!
20 years in jail. Don't drop the soap.
Wait a second.
You said Paco. Isn't that great-grandpa? Grandma Nagisa's dad?
Indeed, and that's where you got your name. Your mother and father named you after your great-grandfather. Oh, well, their grandfather.
So that's why I'm named Paco.
Speaking of Grandma Nagisa, what was she like?
Well, in order to fully understand Grandma Nagisa's life, you have to understand her dad's life.
But why?
He helped shape your grandmother into who she was.
Really?
Of course. He was a very influential man. It all started in October of 1984 in a hospital with Paco's mom.
Would you like to know the gender, Mrs. Bitt?
No thanks. I don't want to know until the birth.
Are you sure you've thought that through?
Of course. Francis for a girl, and Paco for a boy.
Those are some very beautiful names, ma'am. Now I do have these forms, just in case you need them. They're papers for adoption.
Adoption?
Did mention your work schedule was sporadic, correct? And your husband is in jail?
Well, yes, but
Well, I don't mean to overstep my boundaries, but if the state finds out, they'll certainly be all up in your business.
Can I take these just in case?
Of course. Here, I'm going to recommend a friend of mine. He deals with this kind of thing. You can talk to him about it.
Yes. Thank you.
Mrs. Bitt, correct?
Indeed, that's me.
I understand you have concerns about the baby that you're carrying.
Well, more of the home situation surrounding it.
Right. The doctor you've been seeing has told me a little bit about your situation. Can you fill in the gaps for me?
Well, I work a lot just to keep my head above water, and the father isn't going to be in the picture for at least a few years. I'm worried about what I'm going to do until he goes to school, or until his father is in the picture.
And you don't want to give it up?
Well, I don't even know who I'd give it to. I hate the idea of giving it away to a stranger, but I don't have any family who would do this.
I'll tell you, the state's gonna be all over this case for sure.
I know, and I just feel like such a failure. I had the paperwork on my hands as I left the office, and I didn't know what to do with myself.
Well, honestly, I know you hate to hear this, but I would have to give him or her up for adoption. It's just not worth the risk.
I understand.
How are we doing, Mrs. Bitt?
Oh, just peachy. I love this feeling.
Alright, I'll go get some nurses and we'll get this show on the road. It's a healthy baby boy.
Oh, my little Paco.
Should I let you two say goodbye?
Oh, no, that's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I have my reasons.
Well, okay, Mrs. Bitt. If you insist.
This crimson light find you. And truth is like a punch or two. It hits you hard and knocks you through.
Oh, screw it all.
So I get on the road and ride to you.
Don't worry, Paco. Mommy's got you. You're gonna live a lovely, happy life. Just you wait and see.
Get on the road and ride to you. Kiss like a
Grandpa?
Yes?
I don't think we needed to hear about Paco's birth.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to scar your young ears.
But did Paco's mom really steal Paco from the hospital?
Well, I'm not sure. By the time Paco's mom told me this story, she was old and senile, much like I am now. Nonetheless, let's talk about your great-grandfather.
If you know where you've come from, and you know where you're headed, you are not on a true journey. When you're on a true journey, you've nearly forgotten why you left in the first place, and have no idea where you're supposed to go. At least, that's what I believe, now that I've been on the road so long. Everything that happens on a journey is just a sequence of coincidences. But I ended up meeting a girl named Katie and everything kind of came to a halt. At least, that was the one thing I don't believe to be a coincidence.
Last stop until we go back to Myersville.
Don't worry, I was gonna get off here anyway. But what was a coincidence was that I got off the bus that day. I just happened to end up in that town. Who knew coincidences could have done this?
This is the story of a little boy named Paco. Paco grew up in a small desert town of Silver Creek. He was an only child, raised by his mother and father. Paco was always alone, as his mother worked 3 jobs trying to support her family, and his dad went out scavenging baseball bats, as owning one was Paco's one and only dream. However, baseball bats were hard to come by in Silver Creek, as it was a soccer town. That, and the fact that Paco's dad was mentally unstable and always wore a pig mask everywhere he went, and he was wanted in 5 states. But enough about Paco's parents, let's focus on Paco himself. Paco hated his town. He didn't have any friends, as everyone would tease him, calling him Paco the Taco. Yet somehow, despite being virtually alone, Paco managed to get out of bed every day, go to school every day, and continued to live every day. However, after 2 years of living the same boring and sad life, Paco ran away. It happened on June 9th, 1990, Paco's 5th birthday. He was lying in bed in the dark, and he realized how alone he really was. So he thought that if he ran away and visited different towns, he could make some friends. Yes, that's it. He would make friends in those far away towns, the countrysides, the big cities. The possibilities were endless. So Paco grabbed his things, some money, and just ran off in the middle of the night. Paco would spend his nights in trees, ditches, and even some abandoned cars on the side of small dirt roads. Finally, he made it. After 5 days, Paco made it to Craftopia. Craftopia was a big city, filled with people. Paco thought he could make at least one friend here. Paco walked around, talking to people, but to no avail. Everybody just seemed to ignore Paco. Paco was discouraged. It was getting night, and not a single person had agreed to be his friend. How long would it take to reach the next town, Paco thought. But it was then, when a little girl walked up to him.
What's your name?
The girl asked.
My name's Paco. And you?
My name's Catherine, but you can call me Katie. Are you lost?
Yes, I am.
Where do you live? I've lived here all my life, so I know this city like the back of my hand.
Well, I don't live here.
So you're here on vacation or something? I don't know why you'd be here in this boring city.
Actually, I ran away from home.
Why would you do such a thing? Where did you come from?
I ran away from my hometown in Silver Creek to
what?
To make a friend.
Tell you what, come with me to my house and you can stay there until you go back home, and I'll be your friend.
Really? You do that for me?
Of course, that's what friends are for, right?
Alas, Paco had done it. He made a friend. Paco followed Katie to her house, and once they were there, they sat on the bed and talked.
So why did you run away, just to make a friend?
You see, my parents are never home, and I'm pretty sure one of them is mentally insane. But people always pick on me and call me names.
That's terrible. Well, you'll always be my friend no matter what.
Thank you. You are so kind. So, are you sure I can stay here? It won't be a problem for your parents?
Well, we could always hide you in my closet if we need to.
Now I'm not sure about this.
It'll be fine. You can sleep in my bed if you want to.
As Paco lay there in the bed of a girl he had only met today, he closed his eyes. He was happy.
Where am I?
Sorry, my parents came into my room, so I had to hide you in my closet.
So what are we going to do today?
I'll show you. Just follow me.
Okie dokie.
And so Paco followed Katie all around the city until they reached a trail that went up into the woods. The woods had seemed untouched other than the obvious man-made trail. They walked up a steep hill for what seemed like forever until they came to a clearing with a huge tree right in the center.
Wow, that's probably the biggest tree I ever saw.
Yep, it's totally climbable. You want to climb?
No, I'm not good at climbing trees.
How can you not be good at climbing trees? It's like the easiest thing to do.
We never had trees where I came from. Silver Creek is in the desert.
Oh well, suit yourself, I guess.
As Katie climbed the tree, Paco got more and more nervous. What if something were to happen and he were to lose his only friend? Like if she were to suddenly lose her balance or something. It was then when a strong wind suddenly started.
Be careful!
I will. Whoa!
Katie? Katie? Hello?
I'm afraid she's in a coma.
A what?
You said her name was Katie, correct?
Yes?
Well, when Kitty fell off that big tree, she hit her head, which damaged the part in her brain that caused her to wake up.
Will she wake up?
Hard to say. If she does, it may take months or even years. Do you know the girl's parents? I'd like to notify them.
No, I don't.
Wait here. I'll go see if I can find something. Paco waited in the room for several hours, but the doctor had never returned. Why did this have to happen to him? What did he do wrong? His one and only friend now may never wake up from this never-ending rest. Paco somehow felt as though it was his fault, like he did something to cause this tragedy to happen. Paco was destined to be alone. He knew it. But something kept him going. Not even he knew what it was. Paco made it to the next city in a matter of 2 days, using the back of delivery trucks and moving trucks. Finally, Paco had made it to a small city called Blockington. Paco asked people if they wanted to be his friend, but they normally just gave him a weird look and pitiful excuses to carry on with their day. Tired and hungry, Paco went to local pizzeria to get a pizza.
Here you go!
Really? You're just gonna quit on me like that? Fine, I see how it is. I'll just let you know. I'll go find the best lawyer out there and sue your anus. Some people, I swear.
Tough job, huh?
You don't even know the half of it, kid. Hey, I think I have an idea.
And what's that?
How would you like to be the face of our new product?
Really? Me?
It could work. You'd get paid and everything.
I don't get it. I'm only 5 and I just met you in a pizzeria bathroom. And you don't even know my name.
Well, what is your name?
My name is Paco.
Well, my name is Mark. Nice to meet you, Paco.
And so Paco got in the car with Mark, and they drove to his headquarters all the way back in Craftopia. Paco didn't like going back there, but he went anyways. Maybe he had made another friend.
Here is the office. You probably won't need to use it much since you'll just be on the boxes and commercials. So, are you sure your parents are fine with this?
Well, I don't have parents.
Oh, so you're an orphan, if you don't mind me asking.
Yes, it happened when I was little, so I've just been living at the orphanage for a while.
So sorry to hear. Should I notify the orphanage?
No, they won't care. They're mean to everyone, so I think they'd be rather glad.
Oh, okay, I see. So you need a place to stay.
Well, yes.
Well, it wouldn't be too much trouble, so you can sleep in the guest bedroom at my place.
Thank you, Mark.
So Mark and Paco went to work every day to discuss the marketing plan for the new product, Paco Pockets, which were a microwavable snack. However, it was short-lived. People didn't really want a snack with a human face on them. After 6 months, the company that made Paco Pockets was in so much debt from mass-producing the product that they had been forced to shut down. However, not all hope was lost for Paco, as a reality TV company saw Paco's failure as an opportunity to make a reality TV show about Paco trying to get the Paco Pockets back on the market. The show was called The Paco Hole.
Hello, my name is Paco.
And action!
Hello?
Yes, I'm calling in regards to your request to sell Paco Pockets in our store. I will not sell those foul things in my store. They're disgusting and just look awful. Seriously, who would put a person's face on food? If you're gonna do it, always make it a good looking face.
No, listen to me, mister!
Calm down.
No, you My face is beautiful, you raping son of a...
As you can tell, the idea didn't go well. After the show had its run, Paco ran away from Craftopia, hoping never to see it again. It always brought back bad memories of lost friends. Paco journeyed for 7 days until he was on a dirt road. Then, a miracle happened.
Whoa.
You, Paco?
Yes? How do you know my name?
I recognize you from the Paco Pockets and your show, The Paco Hole.
Oh.
Well, what are you doing here?
Well, the show got cancelled. Nobody liked it. That and I have no home.
So you're homeless and unemployed? That's gotta suck.
I guess.
Tell you what, I have a job for you. It'll provide a home for you too.
No thanks. I've learned my lesson about picking up jobs random people offer me.
Come on, kid, you're like 6. You're homeless, you have no friends, and you have no job. What else do you have to lose?
It was then when Paco realized he had been away from home about a year now. He had worked for a company about 6 months and had been shooting the first season of The Paco Hole for about 7 months. But even so, the man was practically insulting him.
You're mean. I said no. I said no.
You'll get paid.
What is the job?
I make mineral water and sell it.
Why would you need me?
I need you to mine minerals so I can insert them into the water.
What's the pay?
Half of any gold, iron, or diamonds you find. I don't need those, so you can have them.
Diamonds? I'll take the job.
Alright, just hop into my RV and we'll get on our way.
Paco got in the RV, honestly unsure if he wanted the job or not. But he realized the man was right. He did not have anything to lose.
I don't think I caught your name. What was it?
Adult Black. Just call me Mr. Black.
Okay, Mr. Black. Where are we going?
My house, of course.
Oh, I didn't know it was like a personal business.
It's not. I have orders come in and I ship them to the person's house.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, people usually order it for parties and stuff.
Mineral water for parties?
Yep. You see, my water has the same effects as getting high off that blue meth that's going around. But it's totally healthy.
Oh, a couple people in my hometown have gotten arrested for that stuff.
Exactly. Don't try it, alright? It's bad for you. You could die from it.
Yeah, that's what my parents told me.
I thought you were an orphan. At least, that's what the show said.
They said they used it as a publicity stunt or something like that.
Ah.
Paco sat in the RV, having a conversation with Mr. Black. Had Paco made another friend? He wasn't sure. Deep down, he had a feeling that this would end very badly. Like every other friendship he had ever had. He thought back to Katie. It had been over a year since he last saw her. Had she even woken from her coma yet, he wondered? Paco decided not to answer that question. Now was not time for living in the past.
Well, this is my humble abode.
It's nice. It reminds me of...
Of what?
Nothing. There's only one bed. Where will I be sleeping?
I'll show you. Here's your office.
It doesn't really seem like much of an office.
Well, it isn't. This is just the main area. This is your office.
It's just a dark hole.
Exactly. You're going to mine, and you'll do it every day. When I said you could keep half of what you got, I lied to get you interested into the job. Here's the actual rules. Give me all the ores you mine. Don't beg for food. I will give it to you once a day. There are no breaks. You mine all day, every day, and if I catch you breaking one of these rules, I will whack you with the golden beating stick.
Is that the golden beating stick?
What else would it be, Paco? It's gold and a stick.
Oh, well, what did you say my pay was?
Oh yeah, I lied about that too.
Paco worked day and night as a slave in Mr. Black's mine. It was a very dangerous job. There are many times where Paco nearly died, almost falling into lava, battling silverfish with his bare hands, and other dangers that lurked below. After he had been working under Mr. Black for nearly a year, when Paco thought he would die from exhaustion and lack of sleep, another miracle happened.
Mr. Black?
What do you want, Paco?
It's cold down here, Mr. Black.
Listen, Paco, I'm not paying you to complain.
You're not paying any of us, Mr. Black.
Exactly, now get back to work. We need some more redstone for our next order.
Mr. Black, I'm hungry.
Paco?
Yes, Mr. Black?
Why are you out of your hole?
I'm hungry.
Get back in your hole, Paco!
I'm so sorry, Mr. Black!
Some people.
He's in here. Listen, buddy. We're gonna get you out of here. Just climb these. What's your name?
Paco.
Alright, Paco. Do you know anything about the man who was keeping you in here?
His name was Dot Black. And that's about it.
What did he have you doing?
Mining. He wouldn't let me stop.
What did he have you mining?
Any ores. He used them to make mineral water.
Come on, Paco. Stay with us. Paco?
What's going on?
You passed out last night, so we brought you here.
Oh, okay.
It was nothing more than just being tired, so you can leave anytime you'd like. I'd advise you to take it easy the next couple of days, though.
Alright.
You were mumbling about wanting us in your sleep, so we grabbed it for you for when you woke up.
I don't remember asking for this, but I'll keep it anyway.
Last night, a local man was arrested for slavery. Our reporter, Dewey Nuggets, has our story.
Yes, that is right, Ron. Dot Black was arrested in his home last night for enslaving a child named Paco. We have the man who found out Mr. Black was doing this. What would you have to say about this?
Well, I was at his house, man, because my order was like late and stuff, man. He said he'd have my mineral water ready, man, in a bit, but he didn't come back, and he left his door open, so I went down, man, to check on him, and he's beating this little kid with a golden stick, man.
You heard it right here, folks, from this man right here. Now here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Paco left the hospital shortly after that. Maybe he should just stop trying, he thought. Something terrible had happened to every friend he had made. One had fallen into a coma, another had to shut down the business, and the third had got arrested. Those are all things that happen to people just because they met Paco. Paco made it to the next town, the town of Livonia. He stayed in town for a while. It had a good soup kitchen, and a place for people to stay with no home. Paco gave up on making friends, for he knew it would never happen. Paco stayed there for a year, then 2, then 3, and before he knew it, he was 20, and still living there. Paco thought he'd be there forever, but that all changed one day.
Lemon freeze, I'm about to puke.
The usual.
On it. You know you should go look for a job sooner or later. Here you go!
What's the point? Something bad's just gonna happen to any friends I make there.
Paco in here?
Katie?
Paco? Is that really you?
Yeah. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Sure has.
So, how did you find me?
Well, after I woke up from my coma and got recovered, I looked around the city and asked if they knew anything about you. They just said the only Paco they knew was from the hideous Paco Pockets and the stupid show The Paco Hole. I did some research and found photos of the old Paco Pocket boxes and some clips from the Paco Hole show. After I tried to find a mailing address and found news reports and articles about how you were enslaved against your will by that Mr. Black Guy. I found something about you staying at the soup kitchen on the website and here I am.
Oh, well, how long were you asleep?
Told me 13 years.
Must have been weird going to sleep as a girl and waking up as a woman.
Yeah, it was. They had me do all these weird tests like touching my fingers to my thumb, and I couldn't walk or talk for a while.
I'm sorry.
About what?
It's my fault. I should have never talked to you. I should have never ran away from home. And I would have never gotten you, or anyone, into the messes they are in today.
What are you talking about?
You were asleep for 13 years. You missed out on school, college, a social life, parents. Mark got his business shut down, and he's probably broke, and Dalt got arrested.
After the business shut down, Mark got arrested for child abuse. Paco, you helped bust a major crime. Dalt deserved it anyway. Besides, what's your excuse? You ran away from home at age 5, and now you're 20. You missed out on school, college, a social life, and having parents.
Yeah, but school and college don't matter to me. Having a social life was out of the question, as all the kids ever did was tease me, and my parents were never home. I was destined to be alone from the start.
Well, you're not alone right now. You have me.
Yeah, not for long. You better scram before you fall into another coma.
Actually, I want to stay with you.
What do you mean?
Well, there's something I've been wanting to ask you.
Yes?
Well, I've been thinking about you a lot, and...
Come on, just spit it out already.
Do you want to go out with me?
What?
Well, I mean, you're alone in this world. I'm alone.
You're alone? How are you alone?
I've been alone for 15 years, Paco. In a coma and trying to look for you. It's been a long journey.
I see.
So, what's your answer?
Paco stood there, taking it all in. The girl who was asleep for 13 years because of him now wanted to be with Paco for the rest of her life. Paco just couldn't understand it. He considered it though. Someone actually wanted to be with him. His journey might finally come to a close after 15 long years. It was then when Paco remembered the vague advice his grandfather had given him when he was a wee lad, just 2 years old.
You must marry the one you put in a coma. It's an old banana family tradition, you know.
Hello? Paco?
Yes.
Really?
Of course. I mean, I did spend all this time trying to find a person I can stay with for the rest of my life, right? Isn't that what friends are for? I mean, we're not just friends now. I guess we're like a couple.
Oh, Paco.
Paco and Katie journeyed across the country, looking for a job that would take both of them. Finding a job was hard for both of them. Neither of them had graduated high school. They finally got a job in a small coal mining town called Minesville. They both mined coal. After a while, they got an apartment and they were quite happy. Protected by Miracackle today.
Honey, I'm home.
Did you have a good day at work?
Well, you know what it's like. Breathing in coal dust all day. Pays good, so I'll live with it.
I've been thinking of looking elsewhere for a job. You know how unhealthy it is to be breathing in that dust all day.
Yeah, but where else are we gonna find a job? I mean, neither of us graduated high school.
True.
Do you want me to help with dinner? It's no trouble at all, honestly.
No, it's fine.
What are you making anyway?
My special spaghetti. It's Thursday, you know.
That's right. And tomorrow's Friday. It's about time. This week has been going slow.
And you know what else tomorrow is?
Don't say it.
It's your birthday!
Ugh, come on. You can give me a break anytime, you know.
I know, but in all 3 years we've been dating, we haven't done anything special.
And I don't want anything special.
Why not?
I just hate being the center of the attention. You know this.
Oh, come on. We can at least get out of the house and do something.
would make you money.
Well, if I take the day off tomorrow, and you and I can head up to the train bridge and spend the day there, will that make you be quiet about it?
Are you serious?
Well, of course.
Oh my god, yes!
That's right. While you're actually mining...
Wow, it's so pretty.
Yeah. Hey, Katie, I have to ask you something.
You can ask me anything, dear.
Well, first, I want to say that I love you. Well, actually, it's more than that. I thought I had a crappy life. But even someone worthless like me finally found something to live for.
Paco,
Catherine, will you, marry me?
Paco, of course I will. The road may be rough ahead, but nothing can happen as long as we're together.
Paco and Katie got married that August. They registered their marriage with no ceremony. They continued their life quite normally. Well, normal as it could be.
Hey, Paco?
Yes, Voodoo Dumpling?
Well, I've been thinking, and I want to know your opinion on having a baby.
I don't know. I don't really like babies.
Yeah, but it means the start of a family. Someone can carry on the family name, a little boy or a little girl to care for.
I guess you're right. What the heck? Why not?
Well, that was easy to persuade you.
3 months later, they found out the baby was a girl. So afterwards, they went to a local ice cream parlor to celebrate.
So what are we gonna name her?
I was thinking something along the lines of Nagisa.
Nagisa? Isn't that a Japanese name?
Yeah, it means shore.
Nagisa, huh? Yeah, I kinda like that.
Katie unexpectedly went into labor while Paco was at work. She was driven to the hospital by a neighbor, and Paco was notified shortly thereafter.
So what do we have here?
My wife is moderately to severely going into labor.
Hurry up and get this thing out of me!
Oh, okay. I'll go get some nurses.
Katie was in labor for 3 hours. She was going in and out of consciousness from the pain. Paco was nearly ready to pass out himself. After what seemed like an eternity, they finally heard the sound of their baby's cry.
Oh, it's a girl.
No duh, I thought it was a boy.
Katie, do you hear that? That's our baby. That's our baby crying.
Yeah. Hey Paco, I'm feeling tired. I'm gonna rest.
Katie went home from the hospital with baby Nagisa shortly thereafter. Katie found a babysitter to take Nagisa during the work hours, and Paco and Katie returned to work. After a year, Katie decided that it would be a good time for Paco to spend the day with Nagisa, so Paco took the day off.
You have everything under control?
Yes, I got it.
Alright, well there's milk and food in the fridge, and if she gets upset, just give her that dinosaur toy and she'll most likely calm down. If she doesn't, then just play blocks on the bus go round and round, and...
I have everything under control. Have some faith in me, will you?
Alright, well, goodbye. See you tonight.
Goodbye. Love you. I guess it's just me and you, Nagisa. What the? What's going on? Can anyone tell me?
Mishap with the TNT. The TNT exploded and they were too close and the rocks collapsed on them.
My wife, she was working in the mine. Is she okay?
All I know is that the people who were working down there were named Simon, Felix, Sayuri, and Catherine. Sorry, I don't know their last names.
Katie. Is my wife okay?
What's your wife's name?
Catherine, is she okay?
Mrs. Bitt? I'm afraid not, sir. She was working the TNT that ran, but They couldn't get away fast enough. I wasn't but 10 feet away from the incident. I saw all of them get buried in the rock. Sorry, Mr. Pitt.
No, this can't be. Katie, you said nothing would happen as long as we were together. I can't raise a little girl on my own. You know this. Why did this have to happen?
And now, for the story that has devastated the town of Minersville, reporter Dewey Nuggets has our story.
That's right, Ronald Doodle. I'm standing right in front of the hold here, which used to be a mine. 4 workers were working with TNT in the local coal mine here when it got out of hand and exploded. Those 4 workers unfortunately did not survive. Those workers were Simon Lane, Felix Smith, Sayuri Karuta, and Catherine Bitt. Luckily, only 10 were injured. All 10 people are expected to survive. Back to you, Ronnie Mommy.
The next day, Paco took Nagisa to Craftopia, to her grandparents. When he finally found them, he explained the situation, how Katie found him, how they got married, about Nagisa, and about Katie's unfortunate death. They agreed to take Nagisa in, and in return, Paco agreed to take her back when he was on his feet. When Paco returned, he didn't go to her funeral. Paco was far too depressed. When the mine finally opened back up, Paco didn't show up, and he eventually got fired for not showing up. A little after that, Paco took what money he had left, sold most of his belongings, and went to visit Katie one last time.
Katie, I just wanted to let you know that I might not be back. And if I do come back, it might not be for a while. So, I just wanted to say goodbye.
Shortly after that, Paco bought a bus ticket. He decided he'd ride the bus until the last stop, before the bus turned around and went back to Minersville. He went through many towns and cities, but then something happened.
It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, you look familiar.
I'm the guy from Paco Pockets, if that's what you mean.
Paco?
Yes, I'm Paco.
Paco. Paco, it's me. It's me, Donald Black. Mr. Black.
But you're too hairy and pale to be Mr. Black.
Prison changes you, Paco. I'm honestly surprised you didn't get a restraining order against me.
I was 6. I had no money, no parents, no nothing. Do you really think I would go and get a restraining order against someone?
You got a point. It's a small world, after all. Who would have thought after 20 years we'd be running into each other again? Kind of funny, don't you think?
So, when did you get out of jail?
Last month.
I see. So, how have you been holding up?
Pretty good. I got myself a job at the library. It's a bit too quiet for my taste, but the pay's good. How have you been, Paco?
I've been better.
What's the matter?
Well, my wife passed away and I had to leave our only child with her grandparents.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss.
Everyone is.
Well, this is my stop. Maybe we'll run into each other again someday. Until then, see you later, Paco.
Bye. If you know where you've come from, and you know where you're headed, you are not on a true journey. When you're on a true journey, you've nearly forgotten why you left in the first place, and have no idea where you're supposed to go. At least, that's what I believe, now that I've been on the road so long. Everything that happens on a journey is just a sequence of coincidences. But I ended up meeting a girl named Katie and everything kind of came to a halt. At least, that was the one thing I don't believe to be a coincidence.
Last stop until we go back to Minersville.
Don't worry, I was gonna get off here anyway. But what was a coincidence was that I got off the bus that day, and I just happened to end up in that town. Who knew coincidences could have done this? Why does it seem so familiar? Silver Creek? I hate this town. It's filled with memories I'd rather forget. I went to school every day, got teased, my parents were never home, and I was alone. Lots changed since I was last here, but hey, That was 20 years ago. I wonder if they're still alive, or still live here, if anything's changed here. Nothing's changed at all. That is so like them.
Hello, can I help you? Paco? Paco, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. You're looking old, Mom. So, we have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes. Why don't you tell me your story?
Well, I ran away from home, stopped in Craftopia, made a friend, she fell into a coma, met a man named Mark. He hired me for his new product, Paco Pockets. That failed. Got a show called The Paco Hole. That failed. Got enslaved by a drug dealer. Spent the next few years of my life at a soup kitchen. Met up with the girl who fell into a coma again. We started dating and later got married. We had a kid. My wife died in the mining accident in Minersville. I left our daughter to her grandparents and hopped on a bus, and here I am.
Well, you've been on quite the adventure, haven't you? You look so grown up, too. That journey must have made you grown up sooner than expected, huh?
Yeah, well, what about you?
Well, the night you ran away, I got fired from all my jobs, and your father noted you were missing. So we thought you'd come back in the morning, but you didn't come back. We started a search party, but that turned up nothing. We found the Paco Pockets in our local store, and we had hope again. After those disappeared, we lost hope. But then we saw the Paco Hole, and we found hope again. Then the news broadcast about you being enslaved by that dolt guy. After a year or two, we gave up. We heard nothing else about you. We thought you were dead. We gave up on the search party. It wasn't long after that your father passed away from a heart attack. I've just been living normally ever since.
I see.
So, why did you run away?
All the kids were teasing me at school, calling me names, and you and Dad were never home. It was like I was alone in the world, and I thought that maybe if I visited other places, I could make more friends.
I see. Well, why didn't you stay for a while? I mean, you've been all over the place. Maybe it's finally time you stayed here.
I guess. So, is it okay if I stay here until I get a job?
Of course.
So, Dad's dead, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I nearly forgot. He wanted you to have that.
A baseball bat?
After you ran away, he never stopped looking. He found one about a year or two after you went missing. He also wanted you to have this, too.
His pig mask?
Yes, he willed it to you, you know.
A lot's changed here, hasn't it?
Everything changes sooner or later. That's how people keep living, keep growing.
The next day, Paco looked all over town for a job, and he got one at the library. He thought it'd be kind of fun how he ended up at the library, like Dalt. Paco was able to move out of his parents' home a little over a year after that. He hung things from his journey up on his wall, reminders of his life, they were. Paco never wanted to forget his journeys. All the lessons his journey had taught him, everywhere he went, all the friends he had made along the way. After about 5 years of living in Silver Creek, Paco got a special knock on the door.
It's open!
I have a very special visitor for you. Do you want to say hello?
Daddy, is that you?
Nagisa?
You look ugly, Daddy.
From that day on, Nagisa continued to live with Paco. They even got a dog named Potato. However, on the morning of Saturday, February 14th, 2088, Paco had an unexpected heart attack and died later that evening at the hospital. His funeral was the following Wednesday. His daughter Nagisa, along with her husband Tomoya, showed up. All his co-workers showed up, and all his friends he made along his journey had also showed up. Paco had no regrets and no unfinished business. Paco had achieved his life goal, to make friends. Although some bumps in the road had occurred, Paco died happy.
Whoa, this is pretty cool. What the?
Wow, what an incredible life.
Grandpa, did Paco really go to the Nether?
My goodness, no. That was meant to be one joke in an otherwise serious story.
I mean, it was hard to take the whole Paco Pockets part seriously, but you know.
Wait, so if my brother Paco is named after Grandma Nagisa's dad, am I named after Paco's late wife?
Indeed, you are.
Wait. I'm confused. Why would Dalt want to kidnap Paco in the first place? And why mineral water? That seems kind of like a random business.
After all of that, that's the first question you ask. Well, I remember hearing the story a while ago. I believe Dalt's mind was still corrupt due to the Enderman.
Hey, Ralph, what happened to Dave?
Dave, you didn't see the news?
No, what happened?
Dude got arrested for making and selling, well, you know.
No, sorry, I don't.
Wow, you must be stupid. He got arrested for making and selling mineral water, dude.
Mineral water? You mean potions, right?
No, potions aren't as bad as mineral water. Potions are like medicine. Mineral water can make you loopy, like the bad kind of loopy.
Oh, like drugs. He must have made good money off of it, though.
You kidding me? He had stacks upon stacks of diamonds. Only came to the mines so the government didn't catch up with him.
This just in. Local man arrested for mineral water. Our reporter, Dewey Nuggets, has our story.
That's right, Ronnie Mommy. I'm standing in the lab here that used to belong to local citizen Dave Smith. Smith used this lab to make the mineral water that was moving rampant among the streets for the past 5 whole years.
What? 5 years?
Police were able to confiscate several pieces of equipment used for making this water, as well as all the diamonds that Smith had made throughout his 5-year run. We have a local officer that helped make the bust. What do you think of this?
Well, honestly, I'm glad we caught this guy when we did. Dave and the rest of his gang, Rico and Evan, were hiding the list for a long time. We were able to obtain over 400 stacks of diamonds. That's a new record for us.
Jeez, that's a lot of diamonds.
So you want to what?
I want to make and sell mineral water.
Dude, that's crazy. You could get arrested for that.
I know, but dude, we could make a crap load of money off of that.
Dalt, I don't know.
Zombie, I've known you since grade school when you were just a little zombie riding on top of a chicken. Would I really let you down?
Yeah.
That was so fast, I don't know if I should be offended or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the plan anyway. Making mineral water is just basic stuff. All we need are minerals and, well, water. You're good with redstone machines, right, Zombie? Maybe you could hook something up. I'll get working on getting the brewing stands and glass bottles.
You're really serious about this, aren't you?
Maybe it's still the Enderman thing talking, but yes.
Are you sure that actually happened? I mean, Endermen aren't really real. I mean, maybe in that one bedtime story, but...
Shut it! I know what I saw, okay?
Jeez. Okay.
I'm going out to get the stuff, alright?
Yeah, okay, whatever. So, what are we gonna do with it? This place is too small for an operation like this.
Oh, please. Don't you worry.
Underground. And with those extensive security measures, hidden entrance, then this could work. Dalt, did you hear? They just passed a law. The mineral water is legal. Dalt?
I want him to mine the minerals.
"20 years in jail. Don't drop the soap."
The 20 years I had spent in jail gave me a lot of time to think. I don't know why I did what I did. I always thought the Enderman drove me insane, but I began to wonder if the Enderman was real to begin with. Prison had taught me that being downright awful to people wasn't the way to go. The stress of being jumped had turned me pale and I began to grow out my hair. I was finally released and was able to get guidance to get a job at the library. I know there's no righting my wrongs, but I hope I can make them up somehow.
And from what I understand, Paco and Dalt kept a, well, strange friendship to say the least.
He'll be here, just give me time. I swear, if he doesn't show up...
I am so sorry I'm late, Paco.
I was wondering if you'd even show up.
The bus I took got stuck behind a slow-moving car.
Still don't have your own car?
I can't say I really need one. In this world, everything's within walking distance, and there are a lot of buses.
That I do have to agree with.
What'll it be, fellas?
We'll split a large pizza, please.
And, what to drink?
Milk, please.
Water. So, I do have to ask, why'd you ask to have lunch with me?
I just wanted to catch up. Is that too weird?
It is a bit strange after what happened about 20 years ago.
I made a lot of mistakes, Paco.
You have to understand there are no excuses for what you did.
I know, but I didn't ask you here for your forgiveness.
So you really just wanted to catch up?
Yes, that would be correct.
Seems harmless enough.
So, how have you been, Paco?
I mean, I'm alright.
What have you been doing since that day on the bus?
Well, ironically enough, I got a job at a library.
Well, you don't say.
Yeah, it's just bookkeeping and stuff, but it is what it is.
And I remember you said you had a daughter that you had to give up to the grandparents. Do you know how she's doing?
Oh, yeah, I'm surprised you even remember that. It was something I just briefly mentioned about 7 years ago, but she's finally living with me for about 2 years now. She'll be 6 on May 28th.
Well, I may be old, but I do have a good memory.
How old are you now, anyway?
Let's just say 59 is the new 25.
So, how have you been? What have you been up to?
Well, I still have my job at the library. I live alone, though. I get lonely at times, but it's okay.
You've never had a girl?
Not recently. There was one before, but I had a lot going on in my life.
Here you go!
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Mr. Black.
No, please. Call me Dalt.
Okay, well, Dalt. I have to ask, why did you do it?
Do what?
Practically enslave me.
It's a question I'm not really sure how to answer. I know there are no excuses for what I did, as I've said before, but I was just recovering from some things that had happened to me from the previous years. I guess I didn't take them so well.
I think I get it.
No need to try to relate. I know you don't, and I know you probably never will.
We both seem to have rough pasts.
And it seems that all of the experiences people have affect them differently, and they have ways of coping with it, though I'm not sure if those are always healthy ways.
Wait, well, we know about Dalt and Katie and what happened to them after they met Paco, but what happened to the Paco Pockets, dude?
Oh, you mean Mark? Well, about 12 years after Paco Pockets went off shelves and the Paco Hole was cancelled, Paco ran into Mark, and Mark was, well, let me tell you.
Hello? Hello? It's Mark. I'm
I'm here for...
Shut it. You Mark? Did Evan send you?
Yes, I'm Mark. Would that make you Rico?
Yeah, something like that. So, what makes you want to sell our product?
Well, I have experience with this sort of thing. I used to work in marketing.
So, why don't you work for some bigwig company? You have a suit? You seem sophisticated enough.
Things are kinda hit the fan. I'm kind of homeless.
Damn. Well, you do a good job and you're sure to have a roof over your head in no time. Welcome to Whimsical Trinkets LLC. Okay, listen here, Mark. There's an ender chest in the bank under the name of Scotty Fuhrenberger. Go to the bank and tell the bank teller. He'll know what you're talking about.
I'm Scotty Fur.
On it. Follow me.
He should walk you down a long hallway full of chests. At the end, there's an ender chest.
So is this it?
Yep. So are you the new trinkets guy?
They have me doing vending.
That's a big responsibility. It's a dangerous business.
Well, this business isn't my first choice.
Afterwards, go to the corner of Redstone Avenue and Jebb's Drive. Evan will be there waiting for you with the booth.
Evan?
Shh. Now you know what to do when the cop shows up.
Of course!
Good luck and welcome to the team.
Mark?
Well, I'll be. If it ain't Paco Bit.
What are you doing selling illegal...
Shh! No one's supposed to know.
So, is this what you've been up to?
Well, sort of. The home situation isn't all that superb at the moment.
So, you're trying to gather up money?
Exactly.
Well, you must make a lot of money selling this stuff.
Yeah, I hope to have a roof over my head soon.
Well, tell you what, I'll help you out. I'll take 2 gas tiers.
Thank you so much, Paco.
Hey, what are you doing?
I gotta go.
Which way did he go?
Oh, I didn't see. I think he ran that way.
Thank you.
Wait, I still have some questions about Paco's life.
Yeah, I have some questions too.
Okay, children, one at a time. Since Paco asked the last question, Katie, you can go first.
Yay! Okay, so how did Katie find Paco after she woke up?
Well, I remember hearing this story from Paco once before. She said she found him on a website, but she was so eager to find him too.
Well, this is it.
You really haven't changed anything?
Nothing.
It's just how I remember it.
Do you remember where your room is?
I was asleep. I don't have amnesia.
Your quick wits may have annoyed me back then, but I'm glad to have them back. The doctor said you might not remember everything.
No, I remember, but I still don't fully understand why they made me stay another 2 months, though.
You were weak. You hadn't walked in nearly a decade and a half. They wanted to make sure your brain was okay before you went home.
Still.
Now go wash up. You reek of hospital.
Hey, Mom?
Your father should be here soon. I just got a call from him. He says he's really sorry that he missed your homecoming, but he just couldn't take off work. What's up?
Did the doctor say anything about someone else being there when I fell?
I think there was mention of a young boy who was a witness to the incident. He said he was a friend of yours. I think that's right. You're asking me to remember something from nearly 13 years ago. What?
Do you have a com?
A computer?
Yeah, that.
What do you need it for?
I need to find him.
But you just got home. Don't you want to stay for a little bit?
I want to find him. He was there. He helped me.
It's in the other room.
What's this? This is him, right? It has to be. Paco Bit of Silver Creek, face of Paco Pockets and star of the reality TV show The Paco Hole, was last heard from when he was rescued from slavery after being held for nearly a year by Mr. Dalt Black. After practically disappearing from the face of the planet, he is now believed to reside in Livonia Town homeless shelter. Mom, where's the town of Livonia?
Livonia? That's not too far away. It's within walking distance. You just go over the Craftopia Bridge and boom, you're there.
Okay, thank you.
Honey, come back.
Hello? Is anyone named Paco in here?
Katie?
Paco? Is that really you?
Yeah. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Wow, I hope I find a relationship with someone as determined as Katie.
Ugh, mushy-gushy romance stuff. And, Grandma Demoya, I'm sorry, but couldn't all of this tragedy be avoided had Paco just not left home? So what, he was home alone by himself for a few days.
Paco, let me tell you what his life was like before he ran away.
Who would like to read next? No one? What about Paco? It's okay, Paco. You can do it.
Okay, at the
Far
end off.
of, Paco.
Right, sorry. Of to tone?
Town.
Of course Paco the Taco can't read either.
Class, please. We should treat Paco with the same respect we would want in a situation like this, okay? Paco, can you come here?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't listen to the people in your class. They just make fun of you because they're jealous.
Jealous? Jealous of what?
I think they know that somewhere, deep down, that you're going to do great things in your life.
Really? You think so?
Think so? Oh, I know so. Now, listen, Paco. I was actually wondering if you could give a message to your parents for me. I was wondering if they would like to come in and talk to me.
About what?
Just about how you're doing in class.
Am I doing bad?
Well, it's just... Can you tell your parents?
Well, you see...
You're still not home, huh?
No, not quite.
Do you know when the last time they were home was?
Last month, maybe.
Then how do you get food?
Usually the school lunch.
Paco, you have to understand that your homing environment is unfit for a child like you. If they're not home soon, I'll have to call someone. I should have called someone a while ago as it is.
I understand.
Just tell them I need to talk to them.
Okay.
So you see, because Paco's mother and father weren't home, he was 5 years old and taking care of himself. He was always being picked on, and the law was bound to catch up to his parents not being home at some point. Personally, I wouldn't have run away, but had he not, none of us would be here right now.
Wow, yeah, I guess I never thought of it like that. And plus, without even completing kindergarten, it was probably hard for him to get a job.
Oh, you have no idea. But that didn't stop him. As I said, Paco looked all over Silver Creek for a job the very next day he got back home after his journey.
Paco, honey, you don't have to do this right away. You only came home yesterday. Well, I mean, I just feel like I have to. I don't want to overstay my welcome. It's hard to overuse something you never used in the first place. I know what you mean, but I'll still live here until I can get a place of my own. I mean, who knows how long that'll be. Well, I suppose I can't tell you not to. You are in your 20s after all. I'll be back later tonight. Wish me luck. Good luck!
Paco Bit, so you got the resume for me?
Oh, yeah, right here.
So, is it true what you said on the phone? You don't even have a high school education?
Not even a middle school one, I'm afraid.
Wait, Paco Bit. Hey, you're that kid.
Kid?
I mean, you're kind of a local legend.
How so?
Kid runs away, becomes the face of a food product, has a reality TV show, then later makes news for being enslaved. Your return made papers this morning.
I didn't even know they could print newspapers that quickly.
Never doubt the power of the media. Anyway, Mr. Bit, the bottom line is that without a high school diploma or some kind of paper proving your education, it's going to be very hard to find you a job in this town. I'm going to send your resume around, and I'll call you if anything comes up.
Thank you so much. You have my number, right?
I do now. It's on your resume.
Perfect. Eggs, pork chop, milk. That's what I'm missing. Hello?
Hey, Mr. Bit. It's the Silver Creek Job Agency.
Well, lay it on me then.
With a town like this, there's either too many people and not enough jobs, or too many jobs and not enough people. You're lucky it's the latter. Okay, I've scheduled 3 interviews for you over the next few days. 2 tomorrow and 1 on Friday. You better show up. With your experience with television, there's a job opening at the local news station, so hopefully that will be good for you. There's another one at a fast food restaurant down the street from the agency. They're in desperate need of a full-time cashier. Also, they're hoping for someone at the library. Someone to make sure all the books are there and track down overdue books. Stuff like that. The first 2 are for tomorrow, and the library is for Friday. You got that?
I think so.
I'll call you tomorrow and make sure you get there on time. Don't be late for any of these. If anything, you want to be at least 5 to 10 minutes early.
I got it. Thankfully, all these places are in walking distance.
Fabulous.
So, Mr. Bit?
That would be me.
So it seems you have an extensive history with television and marketing.
Not necessarily a successful one, but I guess you could call it extensive.
Well, it's bigger than anyone here has done. I mean, Faces on a Product had their own reality TV show.
I suppose so, yes. So, say you were to hire me, what would I be doing?
You obviously know what people like to watch. Well, no offense, but more of what people don't like to watch. You could help with picking stories, maybe even writing them, and give them that extra boost. I know you probably want to be on the screen, but we can't start you off with a responsibility like that yet. I hope you understand. Is there a problem?
I can't read.
Oh, well, we're overstocked on interns and gophers. Listen, I'm sorry, but we'll call you if anything comes up.
I understand.
So what you'd be doing here is you'd take the order from the customer, take their money, put it in this cash register, calculate the change, and give it back to the people. Yeah?
I don't really know how to handle money all that well.
Like count it?
Yeah, or how to add or subtract that well.
What? How do you?
I didn't go to school. Kindergarten, but that was about it.
You've got to be, well, we can't have someone like that working with money. Stop wasting my time.
Yeah, well, thanks anyway. I'm sure you'll find something eventually, honey. I don't know. I never even thought about the fact that It would be hard to get a job without a high school education.
Maybe you should go back to school. It would give you more time to catch up on the life you'd miss.
I doubt they'd let a 20-something back into elementary school.
Well, you have that library one, right? Maybe something good will come out of that.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, if it isn't Paco Bit.
You know me?
Well, of course, I used to work with your mother at the grocery store before you... Well, how is she anyway?
She's good. She wants me to stay home, but I don't want to burden her any more than I already have.
Oh, trust me, I don't think you'll be burdening her at all. Though I can understand you wanting to live as much of a normal life as you can. I know your situation very well. You wouldn't happen to have much of an education now, would you?
No, nothing substantial.
We could start you on bookkeeping if you want, just to keep things organized.
You mean I...
Got the job? Yes, you do. Think of it as a favor between you and your mother. Do you want to start Monday?
That would be lovely.
Hey, no fair! He took 2 turns asking questions instead of just 1.
Well, to be fair, I didn't ask a second question.
Do you have another question, Katie?
So, how did Paco's mom find Grandma Nagisa and bring her to live with Paco?
Well, you see, Katie's parents had called up Paco's mother regarding the situation.
Thank you for coming on such short notice.
No, it's no problem at all. I've actually been wondering about this for some time now.
It's nothing against Nagisa. She's a great kid.
We think it's time she lived with her actual father.
I understand. The circumstances surrounding this situation are just something else, aren't they?
Oh boy, you're telling me.
I almost didn't believe him when he came to us.
Of course, imagine a strange man showing up at your doorstep with a baby, saying that he married your daughter and had a baby with her.
You didn't know they married?
Not at all, no. We heard almost nothing from her after she left.
They say no news is good news, and I guess that's correct. After all, one of the only pieces of news we got was her passing.
I'm so sorry.
I know. She was taken way too soon, though she certainly did have a lot of fun in life.
When your son told us all that they did, we were sad that she didn't spend it with us. But from the time she woke up to the time she left, she had her heart set on finding your son.
A determined little thing.
Yeah.
It's been about 4 years. Is that right?
Yes, it has.
Well, Paco's been on his own for a while now. After working at the library for so long, he's been making some steady cash flow. He also seems lonely in a way.
How so?
Well, he lives alone. He comes by every now and then when he has time off work, but he doesn't really have anyone to go home to.
Would his work schedule be a problem for raising Nagisa?
Oh, no, not at all. I could look after her while he's at work.
So do you think it would be time?
I really think it'll be good for both of them.
It's open.
I have a very special visitor for you. Do you want to say hello?
Daddy, is that you?
Nagisa?
You look ugly, Daddy.
Oh my god, Mom, how did you...
I think it's about time you and your daughter lived together, Paco.
I've been thinking about this for a long time, but Welcome home, Nagisa.
I still can't get over the fact he called him ugly.
Wow, Paco must have really cared for Nagisa to do that.
He did, very much so in fact. Here, let me tell you a story about Paco's retirement party at the library.
Well, thought there'd be a bigger turnout. Sorry, Paco.
Oh, please, it's fine. You and I both know how much of a fan I am of big parties. It's not like many other people work in this library anyway besides you and me.
You got it right. Other than Dolores, we practically run this place.
Ahem.
You're a different story, Paco. So when is your daughter getting here?
Hopefully soon.
Does she know how much of a disappointment the turnout is?
Well, she knows her father.
Sorry I'm late.
Well, speak of the devil, we were just talking about you.
You're not late at all.
Well, I hope it was something good, whatever you were talking about. It's nice to see you again, Jeremy.
Jesus, I'm surprised you even remember me. Last time I saw you, you had red hair and you are about as tall as my kneecap.
Oh, you like my hair? It was becoming black from the coal dust in the mine, so I just decided to change it.
I have to say, I did like the red better, but black suits you too.
You've grown up so fast.
Like, you're one to talk, Dad.
What do you mean?
Please, when I was little, all you did was work as one of those behind-the-counter workers.
Nagisa, I still do that.
Well, yeah, but now you own the place. When the library was about to go out of business and they were going to sell it, you swooped in and were able to buy it.
But still, I don't think that's a major accomplishment.
You kidding me? You saved jobs, man.
I guess.
Paco, you're one of the most modest people I know, but that's also one of your greatest weaknesses. You have to take credit where credit is due.
Still though, I actually have an announcement to make. I may be stepping down from working at this library, but despite the rumors, I am not selling it.
Yay!
There were rumors about that?
And Nagisa, I know you've been wanting to leave the mines for a long time, so I'm leaving the library to you.
Are you serious?
Dead.
Wait, Grandma Nagisa became a mine worker?
I feel like after what happened with Katie, she would be deathly afraid of mines.
She sure did. You'd think that, but Grandma Nagisa was as determined as her mother. She was one of the best workers at her workspace. She even had a little phrase to sing while she was in the mines to help her make sure that she was doing the right thing.
We're no strangers to mines. You know the rules, and so do I. First I grab my pickaxe, then the sword, and then I head out to the mine. I just really like to mine, but there's one thing I'm never gonna do. I'm never gonna dig straight up, never gonna dig straight down, never gonna fall into the lava, never gonna even try, never gonna fall and die, never gonna sit and cry united. I've been mining for so long, my arms ache, but I know I won't stop. If we keep mining, we'll find ore. We know the game and we're gonna play it. And if you just keep on digging, then you're surely gonna see. I'm never gonna dig straight up, I'm never gonna dig straight down, never gonna fall into the lava, never gonna even try, never gonna fall and die, never gonna sit and cry united. Never gonna dig straight up, never gonna dig straight down, never gonna fall into the lava, never gonna sit and cry, never gonna fall and die, never gonna even try united. Dig straight up, dig straight up, never gonna dig straight up. Never gonna dig straight up. I've been mining for too long. No clue where I am, but there's some mobs behind me. Inside I feel the biggest rush. I have this gear and I will live. I run away and get my soul out. Now it's time to go to work. Never gonna dig straight up, never gonna dig straight down, never gonna fall into the lava, never gonna even try, never gonna fall and die, never gonna sit and cry united. Never gonna dig straight up, never gonna dig straight down, never gonna fall into the lava, never gonna even try, never gonna fall and die, never gonna sit and cry united.
Who knew Grandma Nagisa had such a singing voice?
So, Paco didn't have a problem with Grandma Nagisa working in the mines?
Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? But even after the passing of his wife, He still wanted your Grandma Nagisa to do what she wanted to do, whether it be mining or running the library. I still remember hearing about Katie's funeral.
Are you all ready?
As ready as we can be.
Hey, isn't that...
No, turn that switch off. That TNT is gonna come right for us!
We are gathered here today to honor the life and memory of the devoted mother and loving wife, Catherine Bitt. She is survived by husband Paco Bitt and daughter Nagisa Bitt, both of which were unable to make it. Before you say anything, please remember that everyone handles things differently. Mr. Bitt told me himself that he doesn't expect everyone to understand, but he does have Catherine in his thoughts. Although we all do, I'm sure he does more than anybody else here. Catherine was obviously gone way before her time. She was born on April 14th, 1985. She was outgoing, charismatic, and was never unhappy. However, to talk about Catherine, you must also talk about Paco. He spent a majority of her life together. Catherine had first met Paco when they were both 5 years old in the city of Craftopia. However, shortly after they had met, Catherine had gotten into an accident and fallen into a coma. She went through several surgeries, but she wouldn't pull out of it through until 13 years later. If this doesn't show how strong she is, I don't know what does. She was also extremely determined, as she spent 2 years recovering and looking for Paco, only to find him and ask him out. Nonetheless, they were able to both get mining jobs, which was what eventually brought them to Minersville. After a few years, they were able to get married and have their beautiful daughter, Nagisa. Unfortunately, shortly after, that was where her story ended. It was an unfinished one for sure, with a very large gap missing. Now let's say a little prayer for Catherine, in guiding her spirits, and for Paco and Nagisa, in hopes that they'll have the strength to cope with the missing block in their life. Ah, better late than never, I suppose. Is there something you need?
Yeah. Thank you.
Hold up. If Paco wasn't there, how do you know what it was like?
I heard about it from Paco, who heard about it from the priest. It's not that Paco didn't want to be there, though. He just couldn't bear the thought of saying goodbye to his wife. Although he eventually did. At the time of a funeral, he just wasn't ready.
I could never imagine having to say goodbye to someone like how Paco had to say goodbye to Katie, and then have the pressure of raising their child all by himself.
Well, remember that Paco had missed 3 years of Grandma Nagisa's life. He had to give her up to Katie's parents for a few years while he got back on his feet. Believe me, Paco did not want to do that either. But once Nagisa came to live with him again, he was nervous.
Once I turned 5 years old, I ran away from home, and then I got my own TV show. Once I turned 5 years old. It was a big, big world, but I had no idea until I took a gander at a place called Craftopia. After walking, I had finally met a girl named Katie. Then she fell into a coma, it was very scary. After I was 6 years old, I met a man named Mark, and then I was the face of my own food brand. After I was 6 years old. I met a man named Mark in a public bathroom. Only 1 year after that, a man named Dalton enslaved me. Mark had started using my face as his product logo, and when Dalton sent me mining, I could barely see. Once I was 20 years old, Katie was home. After she woke up, she walked in the door. Once I was 20 years old. She just showed up at the shelter I was staying at. Then we later got married, as a matter of fact. Soon we had a daughter and we called her Nagisa. Though 1 year later my wife passed on in an explosion. Once I was 20 years old, my wife passed away. I could not take care of Nagisa, so I ran away. Once I was 20 years old. Soon she'll be 7 years old and living with me. I have traveled around the land on my journeys. Soon she'll be 7 years old. She's been learning about life, Mama is so proud of me. Then Nagisa met Tomoya and I know she's happy. My only hope is that I am making Katie glad. I hope I'm not disappointing my Katie, I'm so sorry. Soon I'll be 60 years old. Nagisa will be moved out. I know I'm getting old, but I hope that I don't pout. I remember when I took Nagisa to Katie's grave. I hope Nagisa will grow up to be so very brave. Soon I'll be 60 years old. Will I make Katie happy, or will I make myself into a disappointment? Soon I'll be 60 years old. Soon I'll be 60 years old. Will I make Katie happy, or will I make myself into a disappointment? Soon I'll be 60 years old. Once I was 5 years old, I ran away from home, and then I got my own TV show. Once I turned 5 years old. Once I turned 5 years old.
Please tell me there's not going to be another musical number.
No, there isn't. Don't you worry, Paco.
Paco must have been a really caring father.
Oh, the best and most caring father anyone could ask for. He used to read Grandma Nagisa bedtime stories before she went to bed, every night as a kid.
Hey, Daddy, can you read me another bedtime story?
Which one should I tell?
One that I haven't heard before.
Aw, but that rules out about half the stories I know.
I love you, Dad, but I want something new.
I think I have the story just for you. The Tales of a Boy, whose name was Steve. Steve was an average boy from an average town. However, something changed one day. A black cloud settled over the land, and creepers, spiders, and skeletons appeared all across as far as the eye could see. On that day, it was revealed to Steve that there was an old prophecy. It told of a young boy from that very town, dressed in blue, who would help vanquish an ancient evil that had risen from the depths of the hellish nether region. Steve had realized that he was the one the prophecy told about, and took it upon himself to defeat that evil. However, he learned that in order to send this evil to where it once came, he needed to use the magical golden sword. But in order to use it, he needed to find it first. He searched high and low through the depths of the jungles and the oceans, and was finally able to find the mythical sword in the hands of a master craftsman in a faraway village. Through the guidance of those same kind villagers, Steve was able to find a house in the middle of the dense woods, which was filled with outcasted villagers who had become very ill. Steve managed to interrogate a map from them, which led him to a stronghold. After navigating and fighting through the monsters within its walls, he was finally able to reach a very strange portal. Once inside, Steve found himself in another dimension, filled with darkness and tall, black figures called Endermen. Among them was another black silhouette with glowing purple, the Ender Dragon. Steve was finally face to face with the evil he was destined to conquer. He destroyed the crystals that made the dragon stronger, and with a mighty blow to the dragon's neck, the dragon crackled and shined a bright purple light. An object dropped from the ground, however. It was a black and purple egg with a note attached to it that said, "Soon, everything will change. H." Many, many years after Steve saved the world from the Ender Dragon, he had become a hero in his town and among all of those of the world. After hours of excruciating research, they had found another prophecy that told of a great machine buried beneath the sands of the desert. Several centuries ago, a matriarchal leader named Alexandra the Magnificent built a great machine to seal away an ancient rogue god that was thought to be the brother of the great god Notch. Alexandra sealed the machine away under the sands of the Great Silver Desert. Steve ventured out into the Silver Desert with his golden sword and was able to find a great temple. He had figured that this was where the machine was sealed away. After digging around inside the temple, Steve managed to find a pressure plate that opened up into a great staircase that led to the machine. A note posted on the wall read, "If this machine is unsealed, Godspeed to whoever stops him. If this is truly an emergency, please place it here." Steve placed the egg that the dragon had dropped on a strange block he had never seen before. The machine started to light up in a magnificent glow, and at the end of the machine, a purple light shone through a frame of black and blue. Steve went up to the purple light cautiously. He could hear distant screams coming through the other end of whatever it was. He reached his hand out and was instantly taken to a world of despair. Lava, fire, and hell were all that could be seen. This was the land that many spoke of, the land of ghastly figures, withered skeletons, cubes of magma, creatures of blaze, and souls in the sand. After a while, Steve had found an amazing fortress, and within it he found a figure much like himself standing in the middle of the flame.
Steve, I know who you are.
The figure said.
But you obviously don't know who I am. You were sent here by my brother, Notch. The prophecy speaks of this day. We are all connected, Steve. You are my brother's creation. We are family. Well, were. I disowned him after he sent me down here. Oh, me? I am Herobrine, and I will cover the world in withered ash.
Followed by another portal. Steve traveled through the portal and was shocked to see himself back in our overworld dimension. He found himself in the woods outside of his town. He found his way back, only to find a three-headed beast destroying everything he once loved and called home. At the foot of it all, Herobrine controlling everything. Filled with a strong rage, Steve realized that in order to stop Herobrine, he needed to kill the three-headed beast, the Wither. Steve climbed to the top of a watchtower that was just at the head of his town. He knew that this was the only chance he would ever get. With one final jump, Steve was able to snipe the Wither with his golden sword and destroyed it in one blow. Herobrine turned to him.
You fool! We're connected. Once you kill me, you'll only end up killing yourself, too.
Herobrine called, but Steve didn't care. He was too filled with rage from seeing all that he loved destroyed. He wanted payback. He wanted revenge. With one blow, just like the two previous monsters beforehand, Herobrine and Steve vanished in a great light, leaving the golden sword at their wake. And legend has it that the golden sword appears for the descendant of Steve when the time is right.
That was such a cool story. I wish Steve didn't have to die, though.
Sometimes you need to make sacrifices. Not all of them that big, but a sacrifice is a sacrifice.
Hey, Daddy, do you think that the golden sword is that one you have?
What do you mean?
Well, you said that Dalt had it appear when you needed it, right? Well, maybe Dalt is a descendant of Steve, the one in the story looks like the one in the living room, and pictures you've shown me of Dalt even looks like Steve. And he said he was being haunted by a creature that kind of sounds like an Enderman.
Maybe. Nothing's impossible after all. Maybe you can think about that as you fall asleep. Good night, Nagisa.
Ugh, fine. Good night, Daddy.
I guess Grandma Nagisa had a pretty good childhood then.
Exactly. Paco had tried to give her everything he wanted and needed when he was a kid, but he couldn't get because he was on the road. Grandma Nagisa loved her father too. You should have heard how she spoke at his funeral.
We are gathered here today to honor the loving spirit of Paco Bit. He is survived by his daughter, Nagisa, and her husband, Tomoya. Paco lived an extraordinary life for sure. Though I'm sure all of you here know about Paco's story. You can't mention Paco without it. Wherever he went, he brought his stories with him. That wasn't a bad thing, after all. As I'm sure we all love to hear the stories he told with such pride. After all, he did live such an extraordinary life. He was so humble. Even after everything he went through, he had tremendous strength, even after the loss of his amazing charismatic wife. Although I think it was the experience Paco had endured throughout his life that helped shape him into the person he was, he chose to take those experiences and grow from them instead of getting beat up by them. I think that's why he's such a great friend, co-worker, father, and husband. Now here are a few words from Paco's daughter, Nagisa.
Thank you all for gathering here. I knew my father was quite popular, but this turnout really expresses that. Being the daughter of the famous Paco Bit was an experience to say the least. Everywhere I went, whether it was a grocery store or in my school, there was always someone he knew. Growing up, I always lived in his shadow, and that's not a bad thing by any means. Please, if there's someone's shadow I could live in, I would prefer my father's over anyone. Everywhere I went, people would always tell me stories once I found out I was his daughter. Not that I hadn't heard them before, I mean, you all know how he practically lived in his stories. I say this not to talk about myself, but to just show examples of how Paco touched all of our lives. Each one of us was moved by his stories, and could relate to them in our own weird, specific ways. Each one of us wanted to be Paco's friend and told his stories with a smile on our face. His loss is a great one, and one that deeply affects this community and everyone that knew him outside of it. So again, I thank you all for coming to celebrate his life, memory, and most importantly, the stories he told throughout.
Hey, Grandpa Tamoya.
Yes, Catherine?
How much did Paco's life affect Grandma Nagisa's life?
Let me tell you, after I proposed to Grandma Nagisa and asked her to marry me, we had near identical celebrations to Paco and Katie.
What would it be, fellas?
I'll have the steak.
Excellent choice. And you, ma'am?
I'll have the rabbit stew.
Sounds like some good choices.
I still can't believe it.
Well, duh, I never expected you to do that.
I mean, I know you love me, but marriage?
Well, of course.
How will we pay for it?
Oh, the wedding? Well, I don't know about that.
I think my family has some money saved up.
Well, to be fair, do we really need a ceremony right away?
I wish we could do the ceremony right now.
Really? Are you sure?
Of course, why wouldn't I be?
Well, I feel like you just want a big, giant wedding, you know?
I just didn't expect that from you.
Well, if we can't afford it right now, that's okay.
Are you sure it's not going to be a problem? Weddings are expensive.
Hey, Katie.
Nagisa.
Yes?
What is it?
I love you.
I know.
Well, is it everything you hoped it would be?
It's so beautiful, and it's all I had hoped for and more.
Potato seems to be enjoying himself too.
Thanks for taking me, Dad.
Yeah, too bad Tamoya couldn't make it. What is it?
There's actually something I've been meaning to tell you.
Is it something bad?
No, not by any means. So do you want to know, or do you want to guess first?
Well, I do want to know, but guessing is still fun.
Go ahead, guess then.
You're pregnant.
What? No. Well, maybe in the future, but definitely not now.
Maybe in the future? Then Tamoya proposed, didn't he?
Was it that obvious?
Nagisa, I love you, but you're so honest. When it comes time for you to keep a secret, you're just awful at it.
Oh, come on, Dad.
So, did you two go out to dinner to celebrate, or did he propose at the restaurant?
No, we went out the next day. Proposed in the same spot Mom proposed to you at.
You mean I proposed to her at?
Yeah.
Let me guess. You went to the Ember Grill afterwards, across the street from Twister's?
We did actually.
Of course you did. Like father, like daughter.
I don't know if that's an insult or not.
And remember how Grandma Nagisa said how Paco knew everyone?
Yeah?
Well, let me tell you a story about Grandma Nagisa's first day of kindergarten.
Nagisa, it's time for school. Are you dressed? Showered?
Hold on, I'm coming. If sleep is so important, why does school start so early?
That's a question you need to take up with the government. Now come on, we're gonna be late. Wait a second, have you brushed your teeth?
Of course.
Oh, no you didn't. Go brush your teeth. You don't want your first impression to stink.
Ugh, fine, and that was a terrible joke.
So, your teacher is Mrs. Bow?
Yup.
I probably told you this, but when I was your age, I had a teacher with the same name.
Maybe it's the same person.
Oh, I doubt it. That was over 20 years ago. I doubt she still teaches here.
What's that you were saying about me?
Mrs. Bow, Nagisa, you were right. This is my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Bow.
It's nice to meet you, Nagisa.
It's nice to meet you.
And what a coincidence to see you here, Mr. Bit. I'll admit, I had my suspicions when I heard Nagisa's last name, but...
Well, surprise, it's me.
I mean, I'd ask you what you've been up to, but you're kinda famous.
Daddy's famous?
Oh, just the most famous person in town.
Wow, that's so cool.
I used to teach your father, too. He was a good student.
Oh, please. We both know that wasn't the case.
Well, you weren't that bad.
Please.
Well, any case, the rest of the students should be pouring in here soon. 2:45, alright, Mr. Bit?
Of course, but please, call me Paco. So, how was your first day, Nagisa?
It was amazing.
Isn't Mrs. Bow really nice?
Yeah, she told me quite a bit about you, too.
Oh, really? Like what?
She said that you kind of struggled a bit, but you were always able to ignore what other people said and did the right thing.
Well, I'm glad she told the truth about me. I wasn't the best student.
That's okay, Daddy. She told us that school isn't everyone's thing.
That may be true, but don't get discouraged if you find something hard.
I won't. Don't you worry.
Was Paco really that famous?
Well, of course. Everyone knew who he was. He had articles written about him. That's how Katie found him after she woke up. He had his face on food products all across the country. His own reality TV show. He made national news when he was rescued from slavery. Here, I even think I have a few episodes of the Paco Hole recorded on TV.
Just me and my daddy hanging out.
Your grammar sucks 100 is here. And your eyebrows.
Dr. Filthy
Ah,
Frank has
come
been
on.
researching the
I can't
mixtape
find it.
phenomenon for
Oh,
6
here it is.
He's just a small orphan boy from the middle of nowhere. It's Paco Bit, trying to get his snack back on the market.
Hello, my name is Paco. Welcome to the first episode of my brand new show, The Paco Hole. About a month ago, I had my own line of snacks, but no one would sell them. And in this brand new reality TV show, I'm trying to get those snacks back on store shelves for your enjoyment. And joining my side will be these people.
My name is Mark, and I'm the creator of Paco Pockets, and serve as the agent. I'm going to be organizing interviews with people to hopefully get Paco Pockets on store shelves.
Why do we need to be interviewed? I'm just the producer.
We're just the,
Script supervisors? Like, why do we need...
Well, I'm the Paco Hole's food supplier. I shot a pizza straight through a man once. All he did was ask for his pizza, and I said, "Here you go!" Went right through him. Killed the poor guy.
So today we're going to give the Paco Pockets to a few critics and see what happens.
Yes, I see.
Do you like it?
trying to enjoy the food, poop squirt.
Oh, right. Sorry.
That was absolute filth. Why does it have your face on it? Huh, never contact me again.
But What did you think?
Yes, can you give us your thoughts on that, sir?
Yes, well, it was interesting. Sorry, I've got to leave. I'm kind of pressed on time. Can I give you a call later?
Of course.
Again, I'm sorry.
Do you think we got it?
In the bag.
And action!
Hello?
Yes, I'm calling in regards to your request to sell Paco Pockets in our store.
Ah, yes. What is your answer?
I will not sell those foul things in my store. They are disgusting, and they just look awful. Seriously, who will put a person's face on food? If you're gonna do it, at least make it a good-looking face.
No, listen to me, mister.
Calm down.
No, you My face is beautiful.
Let's just take a food break. I don't get it. We tried everything. Even his rapping career. Tupaco.
Oh my god. This is really good. Who made this?
I did. You know, the guy you hire to make food.
This is amazing. It's the greatest pizza of my life. How can I ever repay you?
Wow.
We're proud to introduce our new product, Pizza Pockets. I learned the recipe from a pizza man.
I hope Paco's not mad I, stole his thunder or anything like that.
Mad? No, I'm not. I'm not saying I'm mad, but I am saying that some little is gonna pay.
Well, geez, it's clear to see why both the food product and the TV show were canceled.
That was the worst TV show I've ever seen.
Yeah, the whole thing did feel a tad rushed, didn't it? Oh, here's something I totally forgot about. Shortly after Grandma Nagisa had gone back to live with Paco, a reporter came by to do a whole "Where are they now?" bit with Paco.
From the face of Paco Pockets to the reality TV show The Paco Hole. The last time we heard from Mr. Paco Bit was when he made the news after being rescued from enslavement about 22 years ago. However, I am joined by the exclusive Paco Bit in his lovely home in Silver Creek. So, tell me, Paco, how have you managed to keep out of the public eye?
I guess I just haven't done anything interesting, but I wouldn't say I've kept out of the
That's nice. So tell me, you obviously live a quiet life in the town of wherever this is. What have you been up to?
Well, after that whole enslavery deal, I stayed at a soup kitchen until this girl, Katie, that I had known since my childhood.
Ooh, a classic childhood girl next door. Who was this Katie, to be exact?
She was someone very important to me, and someone who would later become my wife. You see, she passed away in the mining mishap in Minersville. I think you were even the one who reported the incident, actually.
A tragic story. How sad.
Sad, yes, but what's happened, you know? Luckily, though, we did have a daughter whose confidence reminds me so much.
A reality TV star has to raise their daughter all by themselves after the mother has passed away. Sad.
Yeah, well.
Obviously, your adventure is over. How has it changed your life, dog?
Oh, it's taught me a lot of life lessons. For instance, you should take life one step at a time. You should never move too fast.
Yeah, sure, whatever, but that's not what I'm asking.
Then I'm afraid I don't understand.
What I'm asking is if it's made you any more famous, popular, or richer.
I mean, other than getting recognized at the grocery store every so often, nothing's really changed.
That's a pity.
Pity? I like my life just how it is.
Well, thank you for joining us for this very unique story. Back to you, Rondon.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, and what a jerk reporter. Is he only obsessed with fame and money?
Unfortunately, that's how most people in the media are.
He did have a good question, though.
What's that?
Did Paco ever do anything with his experiences? Like put what he learned to use?
Oh, all the time. Every now and then throughout his daily life, though he was asked to give a speech to the students at the high school in Nagisa School District.
Hello? Oh. I'm not really sure how to start this. My name is Paco Bit. I was asked to give you all a motivational speech. Now, I know what it's like to be in a rut, and it can be pretty discouraging. Now, of course, I probably had a different life than most of you. I ran away from home at the age of 5, on my 5th birthday, in fact. I met this wonderful girl named Catherine in a distant city, but I had to leave her after she had gotten into an accident where she fell into a coma. Shortly after that, I met a man named Mark, where I became the face of a huge food brand. I was on their boxes and everything, and I had my own reality TV show because of that too. Well, the TV show didn't last long, and then I was tricked into slavery and by a man who forced me to mine precious minerals. He got arrested, and I didn't know where to go, so I went to a small orphanage. Now, you might be thinking that this happened over the course of my entire life, but all of this happened before I was at the age of 8. By the age of 8, I was homeless. I'd lost my one and only friend in a coma, and I'd been enslaved and forced to work in a mine. Now, I stayed in that orphanage for about 13 years. That's only a little bit younger than some of the freshmen in here. During that time, I became severely depressed. My one and only friend was in a coma. Mark was broke because we had a failed food deal and a canceled TV show, and the other man was arrested. At this point, especially in my teenage years, I was convinced it was all my fault. I was convinced that I was making the world a worse place. And then a miracle happened. Catherine came back. She awoke from her coma and found me. I was the happiest I had ever been. We eventually got married, had a daughter, and a job in the mines. Unfortunately, Catherine passed away about 7 years ago, but this is my daughter. Her name's Nagisa. It's a Japanese name, meaning shore. Say hello, Nagisa.
Hello. She's so cute.
Now, this little girl means everything to me. She's my proof that I could go from homeless in my teen years, severely depressed after losing my wife, to being okay, to being as close as 100% fine as one could possibly be.
So, Grandpa Tomoya, now that we know all about Paco's life and how it affected Grandma Nagisa's life, if you could give us a brief summary of Grandma Nagisa's life, what would it be?
So, you want to know the story of Nagisa? You're gonna have to know the whole story first.
Grandpa Tomoya, why are you being so unnecessarily dramatic?
Look, do you want me to give you a brief summary of Grandma Nagisa's life or not?
Yeah, jeez.
So, you want to know the story of Nagisa? You're gonna have to know the whole story first.
Books restocked, mostly cleaned. Everything should be good. Oh, what's this?
It's a surprise, Daddy.
A nice surprise indeed. I can't stress enough my thanks for taking care of her.
No problem, son. She's a great kid.
Aren't you just a little angel?
Yep. Does that mean I get pumpkin pie? Or cake?
We'll have to see what we have when we get back. Thanks again. I don't mean to cut this short, but I really gotta get her to bed soon.
Oh, no problem. I understand.
Yeah, well, we better get off. Give the little one her special treat for being good. Love you, Mom.
Love you too.
Aren't you gonna say anything to Grandma?
Love you, Grandma.
Oh, Grandma loves you too.
Hey, Daddy?
What could you possibly want now? You ate half the pumpkin pie we had in the fridge. Does Grandma even feed you?
She does.
Well, what do you need, Nagisa?
Can you tell me one of your stories?
Ah, so that's what this is about. I suppose just one. Which one?
Anyone.
Well, when I was about your age, I was extremely lonely and no one bothered to talk to me, and...
Not this one.
Hey, you told me any story.
Fine.
Now, where was I? Oh, right. So I was really lonely and one day I just decided to run away and I met this girl and I didn't know it at the time, but that girl was eventually going to end up being your mommy. Now remember, Nagisa, I'll be by early to pick you up.
Right.
Hey, Nagisa, do you know what the date is today?
June 9th?
Do you know what else it is?
Mom, please.
Well, your daughter can't go her whole life not knowing that today is her father's birthday.
It's your birthday?
Yes, it is.
But don't tell anyone.
Shh.
Right. I'll be back to pick you up later. I'm off to work now.
Bye.
Man, it's my birthday yet again. Another year onto my life. It's weird to think about the fact that I, on this very day, ran away. The start of all of that stuff. Proposed to my wife who later passed away. Here it is once more and now I'm spending it with my daughter again instead of her. Not that I'm mad. I still got Nagisa, but I miss Katie.
I'm ready, Daddy. Wow, it's so pretty.
I know. I love this spot.
Well, I can see why. It's beautiful.
Hey, do you know what happened on this very spot, on this very day, around 7 years ago?
What?
A very important piece of history happened here.
But what is it?
I proposed to your mother on this very spot.
Oh, mushy-gushy romance stuff.
Ah, come on. Without that very moment, you wouldn't be here right now.
So Mommy's buried under here?
Yeah, she is.
Whoa.
Do you have anything to say to her?
Can she hear me?
She might if you believe she will.
Okay. Hi, Mommy. This is weird because it feels like I'm talking to a stone, but apparently you can hear me. I never really met you, so I don't know what to say, but thanks for making my daddy happy. He sure does talk about you, so he must really like you. Okay, I'm done.
That's our daughter, Nagisa. She's really something, isn't she? Well, we gotta get home. It's good talking to you, Katie. Hey, you wanna know something else that happened? It happened on a bus kinda like this one. Who knows? Could have even been the same bus.
Is it more mushy romance stuff?
No, I promise. I met a friend here who taught me a lesson I'll never forget.
What was it?
You never know who or when you're gonna meet someone. Your mommy helped me learn that lesson too.
Did you have fun with your daddy today?
Yep.
Did he tell you some of his boring stories?
He wouldn't stop. It drove me crazy.
Now, I wasn't that bad. Hey Mom, I've been thinking. See, Nagisa never got to know her own mother, and I never got to know my own father. What was Dad like?
Your father was an amazingly charming man, but he was also really strange.
How so?
Well, you know about the being wanted in 5 states thing, but you see, he was the Silver Creek pickle-eating champion back in '83. But he was so charming, he would go to great lengths just for the simplest things, like your baseball bat.
Isn't Grandpa the one who gave you the pig mask?
That's right.
Oh, that gives me the creeps. Why did he even have that?
As I said, he was a strange man.
You know what else is strange? You, Nagisa.
What?
See, when Grandma first brought you over so you could live with me, the first thing you told me was that I was ugly.
Hey, Daddy, what was Mommy like?
Oh, your mommy was... Well, when I first met her, she put me in her closet to hide me. She was determined, too. We didn't see each other for 13 years, and she managed to track me down and ask me out on a date. She was super nice, too.
Always insisting on celebrating my birthday when, you know, I... Yes, go on. Okay, I get it. I ramble.
Daddy, do you think I'll grow up to be like Mommy? She seems awesome.
Nagisa, you remind me so much of her. You even look like her mom.
Really?
Really. Sorry, Nagisa. I thought this bring your daughter to work day thing might be more fun.
That's okay. It's not like it's your fault.
What do you say after this we go out to dinner, eh?
Sounds great.
Have fun, but not too much fun.
Come on, Dad. You're embarrassing me.
Ah, but that's what dads do.
I know how much this spot means to you, and I hope I'm doing you a favor by asking. Nagisa, will you marry me?
Are you kidding me? Yes, Tomoya, yes!
Do you, Tamora, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?
Indeed, mate, I do.
Do you, Nagisa, take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband?
Of course I do.
Wow, job as a miner?
Yeah, just like Mom.
Yeah, just like Mom. You be careful, you hear me? Mining's not an easy job.
Yeah. Do you think she'd be proud?
I don't think she could be any prouder.
Your father, he had a heart attack. He didn't make it. Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, I'll be fine. I mean, I'm gonna miss him, but I can't be mad. He lived a good, fulfilled life. Hey, did I ever tell you the stories she used to tell me?
Well, mate, you've mentioned a few, but you never told me the full story.
He used to tell me his entire life story before bed every night as a kid. It all started when he ran away as a kid, then met my mom, then got some food and TV brand deal and was enslaved. Then my mom awoke from a coma and... You know what? I know this great ice cream place. It's called Twisters. I'll tell you the full story there.
As I said before, some bumps in the road had occurred along the way, but everything worked out in the end.
But what about Grandma? What happened to her?
Oh, shortly after you two were born, Grandma, she got very sick and her body just couldn't keep up. But, I'm sure if she were here, she'd be very proud of you.
You really think so?
Think so? Oh, I know so. Now, go set the table while I cook dinner.
Okay.
Wait! Paco! Tasty! Before you go do that, I just want to say that you're both amazing grandchildren listening to the entire story. The story of Paco.
Wait, Grandpa Tomoya, what do you think Paco and Nagisa's life would have been like had Katie not died?
Oh, don't be silly. We don't have time to be pondering what-if scenarios. That's not what life is about.
Yeah, but what if?
Well, I think life would...
Honey, I'm home. How was your day with Nagisa?
It was something, alright.
What do you mean by that?
I guess I still don't really have the hang with this father thing yet.
You will, just you wait.
I hope so.
I have faith in you, Paco.
Probably more than I do, at least. Being a parent is really something, isn't it?
You're telling me you didn't have to push her out of you. Do you want me to help her to bed?
Already done.
Really? And you say you don't have the hang of this yet?
I am but a novice compared to you, Catherine. Now, come on. You must be exhausted. Let's get ready for bed.
Gladly. Goodbye, Nagisa.
Have a good day at school.
Hey Paco, we need to talk.
About what?
Have you talked to your family since you ran away?
This again? Katie, look.
I really think you should.
Yeah, but between the Paco Pockets and the Paco Hole, I think they know I was okay.
But what about now? You have a wife, a daughter, a steady job? If you're going by that, the last they would have heard anything would be over 20 years ago.
I know, but...
Paco, they need to know how you are.
But what about your parents? Shouldn't they know where you are?
After we almost had that accident with the TNT, I've made sure to keep in touch with them a lot more. That near accident made me think a lot about everything. I feel like you need to at least visit your parents.
Are we going on a trip?
We are, Nagisa.
Daddy, are you okay?
Paco.
Paco? Paco, is that you? And who is that with you?
Mom, meet your daughter-in-law, Catherine, and this is your granddaughter, Nagisa.
It sounds like you've had quite the experiences, Paco.
As if you're one to talk. I'm sorry I made you worry all these years.
I was worried, yes, but I knew you'd turn out just fine. Maybe it was for the best you ran away. You learned lessons that your father and I weren't around to teach you, though you did learn them in a much harsher way.
Speaking of Dad, I can't believe he left me his things.
It's not much, but his pig mask meant a lot to him. He really wanted you to have that, Paco. You've changed a lot, Paco. Though it's only natural, it's still incredible.
Is that a good thing?
Is it possible for people to change for the worse?
Of course. People can become corrupted and do the wrong thing.
My teacher always told me that you become what you think. Your actions define who you are.
She's right, you know.
Well, actually, I've learned that what you do defines you as much as what you don't do. The choices you don't pick as well as the paths you don't take define you as well.
Now, you come and visit any time.
I will, Mom. Thank you.
For what, Paco?
I don't know how to explain it.
I think I understand.
Grandma's really nice.
Yeah, she is.
You did well, Paco.
I hope so.
Can we go get ice cream?
Ice cream? You bet.
Yay!